Hello, and thanks for sticking with us through that unnecessarily long intro. My name is Michael. I'm joined here with Jenna, Max, Sydney, Hayden, Natalie, and Nick for yet another episode of 20 Somethings. Thank you so much for joining us. We're excited to have you here. We have some good topics today, some lighthearted topics, some more serious topics. Even the serious topics, still not that serious, but we're here to discuss and inform you what's going on current events-wise. So to start us off, the Super Bowl was this past Sunday, and The Weeknd performed the halftime show. This is very opinionated. This is an opinion-based conversation. Who liked it? Who hated it? Was there an in-between?
I loved it. They couldn't hear him, but it's a live performance. He's running around. What do you really expect?
True.
I agree. I thought it was very good considering the circumstances. Obviously, that we are still in the pandemic and all that. You didn't see any backup dancers. That was my big thing at first. I was like, where's all of his background dancers? Why is he doing it all by himself? And then I was like, wait a minute, he really can't. And I think he's doing great with working with what he has. I mean, I thought it was phenomenal considering.
I thought it brought like a sense of normalcy just to be able to see a live performance. Obviously, we weren't there. But I thought they did a really good job COVID-wise. They had all the musicians in those little segmented areas. And the fact that there were no fans allowed on the field, I thought it was really cool that they utilized the field for the end part of his performance. It was just very well orchestrated, in my opinion.
I enjoy The Weeknd. I do. And I liked it, but I wasn't overly impressed with it. But I think that's because of the technical aspects of it. Like we mentioned, the music was loud. I could not hear him in the beginning. And I know he has a good voice, and I know he can perform well live. Towards the end, I think they kind of balanced it out a little bit better. I have some pictures I can definitely show you of The Weeknd performing. And I would love to get some insight towards what the heck was going on with this mask thing. Okay.
Well, he wasn't wearing the mask in this performance. His background dancers were, and that's because it was a story kind of built up. If you look at his past few months, when he was this was at the VMAs, I believe. Oh no, this isn't his new music video. He has this kind of plastic surgery bubble face going on, and a lot of people thought this was permanent. Thankfully, it's not. And then if you look at his performance before that at the American Music Awards, he had his face in this big bandage sort of thing. And then before that at the Video Music Awards, he had just a bloody nose. So it all kind of built up to this. It was kind of a big reveal, like Hollywood's taking him down, and then he just kind of rose up on top. Like he tried all those things to mold in and it didn't work. I mean, that's what I saw when I read up on it. Everyone has their own little take though.
I think it confused the older generation. Specifically, I know when I say older, this is terrible. Well, like my parents and my grandparents, they're like, is he okay? Is something wrong? So
I do think that the face masks on the background dancers did kind of give it a good touch, though, because it tied in. They were obviously going to have to wear masks regardless, and that kind of just brought his performance aspect into it.
Yeah, I definitely think that was a nice touch.
So did anyone really hate it, or were we all pretty pleased with The Weeknd's performance?
I forgot to watch it.
Personally, I thought he overdid it. Like I was reading that he spent $7 million of his own money, and then I was like, oh, like this is gonna be great, and then I was just kind of disappointed by like how underwhelming it was.
I mean, it's gonna be one of the most unique Super Bowl halftime performances that we'll ever see because it's during a pandemic, and hopefully it's gonna be the only Super Bowl halftime we ever see in the pandemic too. So I think no matter how much money he put into it, I really think it's gonna be one of the historical ones.
Definitely.
Towards the end, the song that everyone was waiting for, the song that went so viral on TikTok this year was Blinding Lights. And it was very visually appealing, I must say, to watch him perform that at the end with all the dancers on the field. Like mentioned, you had all that space. What are you going to do with it? So I can show a quick clip of that if you guys don't mind, so we can inform the viewers who didn't watch. I know Max didn't watch, so we're going to kind of catch him up to speed right now. Let's see if I can do this the correct way. Here we go. Share. So, as you can see, they definitely use the field.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, how do you
$7
not want to get up and dance around?
Exactly. Like Hayden said, he was like, they put $7 million of his own money into it. Obviously that's a lot of money, but when you look at it on that grand of a scale, it's not that much considering. I might be very wrong about this, but I heard that they don't get paid for doing the Super Bowl. It's completely up to them. And then the NFL and Pepsi, who sponsors it, they don't put that much into it, which is why he had to put that much of his own money into it.
It was definitely enjoyable to watch. All I can hear in my head, though, is the whole time that performance was going on, my mom was like, Whitney Houston had the best halftime show. Whitney Houston did it the best. I'm like, okay, well, God rest her soul. We are past that. We're moving on.
Right,
And we
times
have
have changed.
Exactly. Well, anyway, moving on. Before I move on, actually, I do want to show that someone does also agree that.
No, Michael Jackson did.
Listen, that's
Janet
open to debate.
Jackson.
We can do that. Yeah, Nipplegate. We can discuss that next week. Moving on. You need a place to watch the Super Bowl, and usually it occurs during the school year, okay? Narragansett is kind of being a bitch right now, and they are deciding that there's going to be a new ordinance that is in place. It may change, but we're still unsure. 3 people per student rental during the academic year. What are our thoughts on that?
I think it's crazy. They're absolutely kicking people out of their homes. These kids need a place to live. It's crazy trying to find housing in the first place.
Right.
How are you supposed to, be present for your education if this is something you're worried about?
It's stupid. It's stupid. If I look outside right now, I can count 5 different cars, 2 of which don't even belong to the house. So, I mean, that's already a different issue. But, I mean, what are they going to do? Are they really going to go each house and try to figure out, a census of how many people live there? Mm-hmm. Probably not. And the thing about Narragansett, I'm not sure if it's, the whole town or just where I live inside of it, is that in terms of, I guess a wealth gap almost, it's so different between different streets. There will be mansions across the street, and I can certainly tell you I'm not living in a mansion right now. So what are they going to do? Are they going to fine people? Are they going to arrest them, Michael? I have no idea. It's up to Keith. He's a homeowner as well. He's renting out to people. Is Keith going to arrest people?
And that's the thing. The whole question of how is the town of Narragansett going to actually enforce this? My biggest gripe personally with this is during a year when we have all these restrictions, when COVID is, just posing all these issues on our education, kicking people out of the dorms, not allowing you to have a triple, we're moving that down to a double, doubles or singles. They're going to be people who don't have a place to live. And denying someone a place to live right now when they're trying to go to university is ultimately denying them an education. And I don't think that's fair. I know that Caden this year, he is in a dorm. I believe he's in Adams. And what, Caden, your room is normally a double?
Yeah, so my room should be a double, and I was supposed to have a roommate, but so now that I'm in a single, I just think it's weird because thousands and thousands of kids couldn't get housing this semester, and now they're trying to limit how many people live in off-campus housing. I just think that's ridiculous. Kids are not gonna have a place to live. It's gonna lower the enrollment rates at URI. So I think this is gonna kind of come back and bite them in the ass.
I agree.
It's definitely
it's not
one thing. Go ahead.
No, please.
All right. I mean, personally, I live in a 5-person house right now, and to hear that I wasn't able to live with my friends again was not something that I wanted to hear. And it's not like I'm one of those people who can just stay home in New York and do my classes online. I'm a nursing major. I have to be in person. So personally, I have no idea what I'm going to do. I'm just kind of hoping things will work out.
It's a stressful time for students, and it's really unfair to do. And then there's the whole aspect of the landlord, of the person who's renting the house. If you, let's say, have a
equally
house,
unfair to them.
Yeah, they're screwing them out of money. If you have a 6-bedroom house and you're only renting it to 3, you're not going to be able to rent that house, upping your rent because no one's going to pay it. It's not going to work. People are just going to not live in your house. And then what do? You're out of rent money? What do you think, Sydney?
I definitely think it's ridiculous. I mean, if you have a house that's fitting, I have a house that fits 4 people now. And if they're going to cut it down to 3, I know that me and my roommates are not going to want to have to pay more to live somewhere that we would have had to pay less for originally. It kind of just doesn't add up.
You'd think the logical explanation would be something along the lines of, if you live in a 4-bedroom house, maybe limit it to 4 people. If you live in a 6-bedroom house, limit it to 6 people. But the motive behind this, what is it? To not have kids be partying? Like, I could live in a 3-bedroom house.
Yeah, because if it's not
if one person lives in a house, they can have a party with 80 people the same way 4 people in a house could. Like, it's not going to change that. Then I heard this perspective that they, exactly like they said, they don't want students or vacationers. I heard that they
don't live next to a school.
Right, exactly. This university has been here for centuries.
Exactly.
You knew that when you lived. You weren't the first person in Narragansett.
Right. This whole town is based around a school.
Exactly.
What are we
People
supposed to
who
do?
normally lived in Narragansett, now maybe you're going to look into South Kingstown or North Kingstown, maybe even Charlestown. If you want to stick with your friends and you want to stick in a house where you can live with more than yourself and 2 other people, you'd probably be willing to drive, let's say, the extra 20 minutes to do that. So honestly, my opinion, I think Narragansett is just kind of being stupid and they're screwing themselves out of money. It doesn't make sense.
Right.
I don't know. Are anyone in these predicaments right now? Like, do they have an issue going on for next year? Unsure. I know Jenna says she's unsure.
Yeah, I mean, it's all up in the air now. So.
No, I'm done after this. I'm graduating this semester, hopefully.
Well, Max is taking it here. Well, hopefully, moving forward, obviously there's going to be more meetings. Maybe students are allowed to speak. I know they have in the past, I believe, and I know landlords have also spoken. It's really just up to them to see what's going to happen. I think there's valid arguments on the side of the students and the landlords, and I still have yet to hear a real valid argument for the people of the town of Narragansett. And like one of our viewers, Lee, said, it's been so stressful trying to find 3 people houses that aren't super expensive. That's the point of we're trying to rent maybe a 4 or 5 bedroom house for 3 people. Naturally, the rent's going to go up. It doesn't really make sense.
It's especially not fair to those of us that are working.
Exactly. If the other question I had, and then we'll move on from this topic, is what if I was just, your 21-year-old dude living off campus? Let's not even say living off campus. I don't go to school, but I'm looking for a place to live. I don't want to live at home anymore. I live with my friends. Is that allowed? Because I'm not a student?
How are they going to know?
Right, exactly.
It's the same thing with what if I'm enrolled in a school in California and I'm taking all my classes? Does that make me a student and I can't live with more than 2 other people?
What if I'm a 45-year-old woman who went back to school and I just want to live with 2 other people who
you gotta kick your kids out?
Students? Yeah.
Well, that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
any full-time student, apparently. So, okay, what about that 45-year-old woman? Sorry, kids.
College kids living with her. You 2 can't live together anymore. Nope.
Go to the orphanage. Sorry.
Wow.
Yeah, the big issue I think is going to be seeing if this does actually pass or stay passed, how the heck is the town of Narragansett going to enforce it? That is beyond me. And also seeing how they'll enforce it. I know there's been talk about, just finding the landlords, maybe finding the landlords X amount of money per day per extra student that's living in their rental. So landlords are tentative. Yeah, they might want to take the risk and rent their house to more than 3 people, but you never know. This same issue did pass in Providence, and it's not enforced. So if we're trying to follow their example, there's not much to follow by at the moment. $500 per day, that's a pretty steep.
Wow, that's really expensive.
That is steep.
Anyway, listen, before we grow any more gray hairs, I want to drop out of college. Let's talk about something more.
Watch Sesame Street.
I want to zoom out. We're not in college anymore. We're children. We're talking about Sesame Street. Sydney, what's going on with Sesame Street?
Rewind. So yeah, I was looking on Twitter the other day and I was just, looking at some of the trends and I realized Big Bird was trending on Twitter and I clicked on it. Obviously, I was interested to see what was up with Big Bird. I haven't really heard from him in a while, haven't seen anything with him in a while. So I clicked on it and apparently Big Bird has cousins all around the world in all different countries. They have all different representations of different characters of Big Bird, and they're known as his cousins. And I tried to find some pictures, but I'm going to do it this way because I don't think I'm getting it to work. But this is one of his cousins in Mexico.
He looks like a popsicle.
I know, some of them are so cute. He has a cousin in the Netherlands. Aww. He has a cousin in Turkey. And let's see. And then there's Little Bird, who I guess is another American cousin. There's just so many family members that we didn't ever know about as children. And I think it's great that Sesame Street has expanded Even Oscar the Grouch has different cousins in different countries. So I thought that was a very interesting piece of information.
I think that's pretty awesome. I mean, I don't know much about his cousins, but I'm assuming if they all represent these countries, then they probably all bring some cultural aspect from those countries. And that's like so important for kids watching Sesame Street just to get that worldly view and that worldly knowledge just from such a young age. If you're exposed to things like that, different cultures, different languages, different customs, when you're 4 years old, you're going to carry that without you throughout your life.
That's the thing.
Exactly.
Sesame Street has such a huge impact on children. I mean, going back to when my mother was a child, I remember when we'd watch when I was a kid, she always talked about how when she was a kid, she'd watch the same thing and she'd learn the same concepts and the same things about culture through the same characters, 40 years later. And I think that's a pretty incredible, powerful aspect of a TV show that's been on for so long. And to see that they're constantly expanding and they're keeping up with the times and still educating our youth and our children to be aware of what's going on in the world is pretty damn impressive. So
yeah, I think it's great.
Sesame Street slaps, dude.
I haven't watched in so long. I think I'm gonna have to watch one tonight now. I don't know.
We should binge it. Can we binge it next week on stream?
Do they have it on Netflix? That's funny. Does anyone else have any more Sesame Street? What's going on?
Yeah, I saw TikTok today that, the show Bear in the Big Blue House was very popular in the 90s and early 2000s. The Big Bear.
I forgot about that.
Oh my goodness. No
He
way.
is actually a
The one
Muppet.
stuffed animal that I've had.
I love that.
Him and all of his friends are actually in the Muppet family, as are the Sesame Street characters, which is often forgotten. A lot of people, when they think Muppets, they just think like Miss Piggy. But Sesame Street and all them, they're all intertwined. And there's a picture of Big Bird and Bear, and it just shows how universal they are.
Oh, that's adorable. Are they
I don't know
cousins
if you
too?
saw that ad, but on the
Maybe.
Super Bowl this weekend, they did have a big one with everybody from Sesame Street coming together on it. I believe it was for DoorDash, but it was a very cute, very wholesome commercial.
We need that right now. We need the little uplifting things and tying in something
Honestly.
from our childhood. And, again, Sesame Street is from even our parents' generation, their childhood too. That's a way to hit home, and that's the way to get someone's
Right.
attention for sure.
It's definitely
Still
what the world
going
needs.
strong.
Intergenerational connections.
Yeah.
That is exactly what I was
Yes.
looking for.
I love it.
Sesame Street is very unifying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Best delivery. You can't order chicken if you're ordering it from Big Bird, though.
Oh,
Ooh, that's true.
Wait, why not?
Because
that's messed up, man.
I want Miss Piggy to deliver my Denny's breakfast bacon.
I do want to know if Big Bird lays eggs, though. Or is Big Bird a male? I don't know.
Listen, I think we're getting a little
That's a
too
good question.
TMI with Big Bird here. I don't know. All I can picture is like Big Bird pulling up in like this really nice BMW or something, door dashing all over the place. That would be funny.
Lee's gonna make it happen.
Lee's going to dress up as Big Bird.
Oh my god, that'll make
We'll
somebody.
need that for next week. We need to make that a segment. That is exactly optimism, lifting
Yes.
people's spirits. That's what we need right now.
Mm-hmm.
right, listen.
Absolutely.
Before I totally cut us off and wrap this thing up, is there any more comments of any of the topics that we've had so far? Any questions from the audience? Does anyone want to contribute anything else? Well, that silence is kind of indicating of something, meaning that I should maybe wrap this up. So with that being said, thank you so much for joining us. Once again, this is 20-somethings TV, joined here with Jenna, Max, Sydney, Caden, and Natalie. Caden, thanks for joining us. This is your first week. Looking forward to hearing more from you.
I know. Thanks for having me. It's a blast.
Anytime. So as always, follow us on Instagram, 20-somethings TV. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, also 20-somethings TV. And we'll see you back here next week. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day.
Good night.
Bye.